All right, back to the wonderful wide world of BACnet. Anybody come up with any questions over the break? Okay. I did miss 2 points on these slides that are more than a little bit important. Within a BACnet system, each device must have a unique BACnet device ID. Okay? So if we have our 3 networks going on here, technically we could have 3 devices that have the same virtual address within each of their own networks. Okay? Yes, that's confusing. Yes, just accept and move on. Okay? But each of our devices that are part of this BACnet system must have a unique identifier. Okay? And it is a number between 0 and I think it's 52,000 something. Okay? So in reality, you are limited with the maximum size of a BACnet system at this juncture in time to something around 52,000 devices. Okay? Which seems like a lot until you start thinking about, well, what if one company has multiple buildings around the US and wants to make it all one system? Something like Walmart. That becomes really significantly more challenging because they may start creeping up on that number. And if we start adding a lot of smart devices like thermostats or duct temperature probes or on, you can chew into that number very quickly. Okay? And in most systems, that ID number is also manually set. Not all. Some automatically set it to match a controller's serial number or something like that, which of course makes documentation challenging. Okay? But they all must have unique device identifier numbers. Robin?
Do you know if the committee has looked at doing something like a MAC address on?
I have no idea.
Because that would apply so much more secure.
It could, yes. But no, I have no idea what they're looking at from that standpoint.
Couldn't you, in each subnet of 52,000 devices, attach your subnet identifier to that unique address of each device when you send it back up to the next level?
That is something that BACnet could choose to do, yes. But at this time, there are no provisions for that built into the protocol.
In other words, the controller can only communicate with that many.
Correct. The current solution for that maximum cap that I am aware of is that instead of making both of these 2 systems part of the same system, or these 2 networks part of the same system, is using some other protocol to communicate between these 2 systems. Or instead of between these 2, directly up to this one, but something that's not BACnet. Then these are separate systems and they can use identical or reuse the same ID numbers. And I think that is how Walmart or groups like Walmart are currently addressing that problem. Because while the BACnet standard does have provisions for what are called operator workstations and advanced operator workstations, there really aren't a lot of manufacturers that are utilizing that particular device. Most of their workstations aren't actually a BACnet device in and of itself. They're relying on communication back to their supervisory controllers and passing that data up through a proprietary protocol. Again, not exclusively. There are some whose workstations are BACnet devices, but that is not the common solution at this time, at least that I'm aware of. Okay? Make sense? All right. The next one that I missed is when we are pulling points into our client, each category of point must also have unique identifiers. So if we have 10 analog values that we decide to pull in from a controller, each one of those 10 analog values is going to have an identifying number as well as a name, and a description is optional. Okay? But if we have a room temperature, maybe that is analog value 1, and our discharge air temperature is analog value 2, and our room temperature set point is analog value 3. Get the idea? It's kind of like setting up your inputs and outputs. You can only have 1 to 1. Well, if you have one sensor, you must dedicate one input to it. There we go. I got there in the end. Okay. Clear as mud? Okay. So this really makes it funny where we ended before our break, because the next slide was the end of that section. But I would have missed the identifiers, so it's good that we did. Okay. No questions? Okay. Enough talk. Let's do. Shall we? And you know what we're going to start with? Talking. Sorry, couldn't resist. Am I okay to erase? Because now, as our first step to do, just like most things, we have to plan a little bit. So right now, in front of you is your very own BASView3. Sorry, too many names floating in my head today. And first thing we need to do is establish communication with that device. So, when you walked in the door, that controller was plugged into the switch sitting on your desk. Right? Okay. Well, what that means is we had 21 devices, 22 devices, all plugged into the same network, all with the same address. Guess what we're not talking on? That network. Okay? So what you need to do is unplug your BASView3 from the switch. Unplug it on the switch side, because then you're going to plug that cord into your computer. All right.
If you don't have an Ethernet port, then what?
How many people don't have an Ethernet port? Just Peter. Hey, that makes that. I love it that everybody listened to the email. Thank you very much. I'll loan you one.
If you don't have a USB,
Well, my spouse has a new Mac, and all it has is USB-C, so it wouldn't surprise me. All right. So, in the presentation, I listed a example IP version 4 address that was,
It's just like,
there we go, 192.168.92.68. Guess why I use that address?
That's the default.
Because it's the default address for your BASView3. Now, right now, on your individual networks, because believe it or not, you just made a network with 2 devices on it, right? Your laptop and the BASView3. We know the IP address of the BASView3. What is the IP address of your computer?
It's anything right now.
It's going to have an address.
Yeah, it's gonna have the same address back except for the last 2 numbers. You gotta make it opposite of the controller so that it won't.
You're getting ahead. You're getting ahead. But you're right. So the first thing we need to do is find out what the IP address is of our laptop. Okay? Now, Peter, I don't know how to do it on your Mac. Anybody else in here have a Mac? Excellent. Everybody else was sensible. Okay. So, does everybody know how to open a command prompt? Okay. For those of you who don't, hit your Windows key down to the bottom left corner and type in the letters Charlie, Mike, Delta, CMD, and hit enter. Okay. Everybody everybody got a command prompt? Thumbs up if you do. Thumbs up if you don't. Thumbs up if you're not listening to me. God, it was predictable. They even answered. All right. So, we can type some useful commands into this window. Right now, what we want to type in is ipconfig, ipconfig, all one word, and hit enter. Okay. Now, if you're like me, you probably have a lot of information. Or if you're really like me, you forgot to plug your computer in. There we go. Fine. Sorry, hang on. There we go. All right. So, you probably have 2 adapters on your computer, one on the wireless, one a physically wired connection. That's what mine has anyway. Okay? And you'll notice on mine it says wireless LAN adapter, and we have an IP address. Do we care? Nope, we don't. We want to be up here on the Ethernet adapter. Okay? Yours may also be giving you things like a Bluetooth adapter or 4 other network adapters. But we should have one that has an IP version 4 address. And right now, it's probably telling us something like 169.254.180.238.
no,
No?
no, mine says 192.168.92.67.
Okay.
Plug it in.
No, already set a static IP address, huh? So for those who weren't clever, okay. If you already have a static IP, it's going to tell you whatever you plugged in for it. If it doesn't have a static IP, it's going to be somewhere in this 169 range. Okay? The reason for that is because that's Windows default. When Windows sends out a DHCP request and it doesn't hear anything back, it just gives itself this IP address. Okay? That's what it was programmed to do. It's just a default. Okay? It does not mean it'll be able to talk to anything on that address. Okay? So, our next step, of course, is to set up a static IP. Because if your laptop's not going to act as DHCP, and the BASView isn't going to act as DHCP, we can't use dynamic addressing. So, to do that on Windows, thank you again, everybody, we're going to go to our Windows again, and go to Control Panel.
Did you make your command prompt big on the screen so that everyone can see it?
If you need to increase that, here, let me switch back to it. If you click in the upper left-hand corner, you can come down to Properties,
Okay,
and Font Size is one of the tabs.
cool, I didn't know that.
Okay? Once you're in Control Panel, go to your Network and Sharing Center. Once that comes up, click on Ethernet. And this is what that video that I sent out shows you how to do. And when this window pops up that gives you some details, click on Properties. And then we're going to go to IP version 4. This is where we can plug in
Actually, if you go right in here, you can go to the properties there.
Okay. So, what do we put in?
The same one for everybody.
The same one for everybody. That will work because we're all on our own network. But what numbers, what address do we plug in? Do we use 192.168.92.68?
You use 68 because you'll button hits with your computer.
Right on. We can't use 68 because that's what the BASView is on. So we can be different. How far different can we be? Anything? 1.1.1.1? Will that work?
You gotta have the first three, but the last number
Last
could
octave.
There we go.
be any three digits that you want.
Well, this is what we're dealing with, because we're gonna have to all do different stuff.
Match those three and just change the last ones.
Are we gonna randomize it?
Doesn't matter.
Well, we're gonna have to, we all have to have different ones.
We're going to get there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 192.168.92. Oops. .70. Okay. After you fill it out, if you just hit the tab key, it will automatically fill in your subnet address for you. Subnet mask, excuse me. Just because I warned you that that was a possibility in the email, right? So it's all right. I got a solution for you.
You're gonna have to bring two. Mario.
Yeah, see if it'll work, it may not.
All right. There you go. Plug that one in, plug it into your BASView, and then hang on. Okay. Flip it on. And here, give it about 2 minutes, connect to that wireless address.
Okay.
Okay? All right, Justin, go ahead and plug that one in. And you're going to plug that in there. All right. And I'm glad you brought that up because we need to talk about it. Okay. Sir.
So this is, can you see that?
Yes.
You don't see internet sharing over here. System preferences.
Let's click on network. There we go. Let's change. It does not seem to have recognized your or the wire or the physical adapter. So I'm going to switch you up. You have a power, go ahead and plug that into the power strip next to you.
Oh, there. Wow, I didn't saw it.
All right. So here in about 2 minutes, you should be able to connect to this wireless network.
Oh, okay,
There's your password, and then you'll be set up.
okay.
Okay?
So I don't need,
Correct. I will actually steal that back. Okay.
and I should recognize it here.
You would change it to, no, you will connect via wireless just like you did to the MCC wire.
Cheating.
Yes.
That's how I'm circulating our IT.
So, all right. So, Brad just accused me of cheating. And he's absolutely right. I will cheat at every opportunity, especially when I'm fighting IT, because I have to. Okay?
Using a wireless router.
So, if you are like me, your IT people are in 100% control of your devices. Okay? It's a terrible situation to be in. It sucks. They don't. Very nice. They don't like to give you access to administrative rights. Okay? And they really don't like to give students access to administrative rights. So, doing this basic thing, changing or setting a static IP address, is sometimes out of our reach because IT won't let us. Lanny?
That's why you need to take the IT guys out for beer every Friday night. That works.
My IT department's kind of big. They don't pay me that much. Okay? So, a very simple workaround is get some cheap wireless routers. Okay? This is a particularly small one. It's a little battery-powered job. When I bought it, it was cheap. It is not cheap anymore. So, on the back table, I have like a $30 D-Link wireless router. It's not battery-powered, but you can change its internal IP address. And you can change the range of IP addresses that it sends out via DHCP. So you can use it as the communication bridge between the wireless on your laptop, which I haven't run into an IT department yet that's been real sticky about changing or connecting to wireless networks. So you can use that to send the IP address to the student machines that you need. Okay? Brad.
Another method is what I'm doing in our campus is I created a hardwired local area network and put a wireless router on it. And each computer has a wireless adapter, Wi-Fi adapter in it.
Gotcha.
And a USB port.
Basically doing the same thing, except you have the network already set up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Robert, does this technique give you administrative access?
No, it is a total workaround around IT not giving you administrative rights. I like to think of it more as sidestepping around their rules.
I got a great relationship with the guy in the IT department that does a lot of our work, but his higher ups won't allow him to give us access, and he loves the idea that I'm setting up what he calls a crash and burn network.
Yeah. So, for those of you setting your own statics, just go ahead and hit OK. And OK.
And yes, I stole it from you, Robert.
Copy and steal everything. Okay? We're going to jump back.
So Robert,
Lan.
Still,
Correct. You're not going to need to click on it like that.
Okay.
Let's just jump back to your command prompt. Nope. Oh, just swing over into here.
Right here.
Yep. It has done automatically what we had to have everybody else do manually for us. Okay. So, let's verify that our settings took place. Let's jump back to our command prompt and type in ipconfig again. By the way, you can also just hit the up arrow and it will bring up the last command you typed.
don't forget F3.
Okay?
Alt 155, you know what that is? My daddy's teacher.
No, I know it's ASCII.
Something you never get to see anywhere.
I can't.
Now I will point
No, I don't have a number pad, so it won't ignore it. I know 248 is the degree symbol. It's what?
to center.
Oh, okay.
Think about that.
Yeah. Yep.
Alt 155 is the wire.
Yep. That would make sense. Okay. So, for those of you who are using a wired connection and just set your static IP address, up here where we had before the 169, you should now have whatever you plugged in. If you don't have that, you didn't do it right, go back and try it again. Okay? For those of you on the wireless, your wireless IP address should now be reading something more like 192.168.92 something. Okay? Everybody to that point? I need confirmation, thumbs up. Okay. So the next thing we're going to type in is another so useful command that it's ridiculous. Okay? We're going to test that we can talk to our controller. So, as you heard the echo, the command is ping, P-I-N-G. We're going to type ping space the address of our controller, 192.168.92.68, and hit enter. Okay. There are three options of the feedback it will give you. If it gives you a reply from the address, that's the ideal situation. That means it is successfully talking to your controller. It has found a way to talk to it. Okay? If you have timeout, it means it cannot talk to your controller. Either you misentered the IP address it needs to ping, or you misentered your IP address, or the wires cut, or there's a list of possibilities. Okay? The third option is that you get a reply from your own computer that says something like destination host unreachable. Okay? Again, this usually means that you have a conflict of some sort with the IP address. And you need to go recheck it and make sure you set it fairly close to what you started.
What had it shown on my cable?
That should be a timeout.
It's that little circular thing that looks like a.
I don't know whether it needs to be a timeout for Ted or a timeout for you, but maybe we'll go with both. Okay?
I'd probably get time out.
So, has everybody gotten a reply from your controller?
Yep.
Excellent. We are now going to pull up a web browser. And in the address bar, you are going to type the IP address. No HTTP, no www, just 192.168.92.68. Okay. Everybody pull up to a login screen for the BASView3. Excellent. Before we type anything here, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Because you need to be a little bit prepared for this. Because if you're not, you can cause yourself more heartache than you need. Okay? You're going to log in. Okay? I'll give you the login, username and password default to begin with. The first thing that's going to happen when you log in is it's going to tell you you must change the password. It will not accept the default password back into it. Okay, this is a security thing. So, have a password ready. Okay, I'm going to tell you the password that I'm going to use. Okay, hello, CC1, all lowercase.
Just copy that whole policy.
You're damn right I did. Okay? If we all use the same password for now, it works. Okay? Now, I will tell you there is a way to get into it and reset all of this when we need to. Okay? So if you log in, change the password, and then you can't get back in, let me know. We'll get it fixed. It's not hard. It's not even traumatic. It's pretty easy. But for now, the default login credentials are admin, admin. I know, creative, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. Admin, pass. There we go. Admin, pass.
That's
PASS. Pass is the password.
Then it makes you change it. Whatever you want. That's
Whatever you want. Okay. Yeah, that's why I chose hello CC1, because it was 8 characters. Then go ahead and log in. Going good so far? Excellent. All right. Next up. Welcome to our environment for the BASView3. This is where we will be spending almost all of our lab time. Okay? Most things are pretty simple, nothing real wild and crazy. We have our navigation tree over here on the left. We have our workspace over here on the right. Down here in the bottom left corner, we have some useful icons. Right now, we want to go ahead and click on the gear icon. And it pops up a menu. Okay? We've got all kinds of things here. And we want to go, I think, to edit settings. Okay? Now this pop-up menu type thing we're going to see a lot. I'm going to warn you, it isn't the most amazing thing to scroll through. Okay? Just a warning. You'll figure it out. But anyway, let's go ahead and go to our network settings next. And you can see we've got our basics, we've got IP settings, email, we can change port numbers. By the way, changing port numbers is a very easy way to secure an unsecure device. It's not actually secure, but if you make it talk on some weird port number that nobody's used to, it's really kind of hard to make it come back and talk if you don't know how to make it. Okay? But let's go to our IP settings. Okay? We've got a host name. You can change it if you want. Your name, your college's name. Leave it alone. It does not matter. But what we do need to change is the IP address. Okay? And this is where we've got to be a little bit intentional and actually talk about it and plan. Okay? This, we're going to kind of zip through this, but this is actually a really good discussion to have with about 8 or 10 students and have them think, okay, how many devices are we going to have on our network? Let's plan out our IP addresses so we're not stepping on each other's toes. It's really great when you go through this the first time because they'll set their IP addresses and completely forget to leave any room for their laptops. Okay? So then they'll ask, why doesn't it work? Why won't it connect? Because you forgot to leave space for your laptops. Okay? And they'll tack them on at the end. It'll be fine. Okay? So, what I'm going to propose and strongly encourage, because I have other equipment set up to work with this plan in the back, is that we use 192.168.10, and that last number is what we're going to fiddle with. And if you look on your table, there's a post-it note that gives you a range of IP addresses to work with. So that is just you two.
Oh, just us, okay.
Okay? So,
That means,
let's talk about it as a group, because I have a suggestion for this too. Okay? And normally I would make the students come up with this. I love just cutting them loose and letting them wreak havoc, because it's really fun to watch. Okay? And they come up with creative solutions that I wouldn't have. Okay? For this, everybody has a list of 5 IPs, right? Well, there's 2 of you at each table. You have 2 BAS views and 2 laptops. So we have 1 spare address, right? I would encourage that you choose among the 2 your table mates and set the BAS view to the even numbers. Okay? And then reserve the odd numbers for your laptops. That way, if somebody decides to get a little bit froggy with it, they can bring in a second laptop or a tablet or something to also work with. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? Let's set them up.
I'll take 36 and 38.
After you get the BAS view set up, hit apply, and it's going to want to restart.
Yeah, so you be 36. Okay. So, and I'll be 38.
Apply, okay, close. And then we come back into our settings menu, server functions, restart or reboot server. You have to reboot the server before that IP change will take effect.
Do they have a timeout there?
For,
I forget this one, it's like the controller. You only got so much.
oh, before it'll go back to its old IP? I don't know. That's a good question.
This is site set.
A server reboot, server wires.
Rebooting? Rebooting time? Saving? Oh, rebooting? Perfect.
The 9.2 doesn't matter, he's going from 9.2 to 10.
Correct. That just matches what I've got here in the back. You can let the students leave it at 92 or wherever you want it. Oh, go down to your, hit OK. Close. And then go back into your settings. Server functions. Reboot.
So I gotta change that. I changed this.
Where would I go with
I should
the
change
next?
to second.
All right, go ahead and open a web browser.
Okay.
Oh, web browser?
Yes.
From
192. Go ahead and type in your address, 192.
192.
Dot 168. Dot 92. Dot 68.
66?
68. Enter. Sure. Go ahead and hit the back button. Server functions. Reboot.
I just refreshed.
Yeah, 37 or 39.
Okay. Can I see what wireless network you are connected to?
Okay.
It's safe. I gotta reboot it. Now it should be.
Connected to,
No, you're still connected to the MCC wireless.
is that
We
the
need to-
right one?
No, we need to connect to this one.
Oh.
Nope.
HVAC BAS2.
This one here?
That's the one.
What's the password? Oh.
All right. Once you have rebooted your machine, your BASView, go ahead and go back in and reset your IP address on your laptop. For you two who are using my routers, just sit tight for a minute. You won't be able to.
Wow.
There we go.
Did you get yours set up, Mario?
I was looking for land to choose a number.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Go with it not?
Yeah, you should.
I just pick,
What's my username?
pick my two or
Yeah, so we need .10,
10.
dot,
Okay.
and then you can pick either,
So do I put both?
Pass.
Nope.
46 and 47 or just
nope,
46?
just 46.
46.
Ask you to
And we'll make Lanny go with 48.
48.
Okay?
To hello.
Yes, hello, CC.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, you gotta turn it off the super.
I just logged in, so where do I go back?
Go to Edit Settings. That's right. Network Settings. IP Settings. And you're going to catch .10
Oh, you wanna go
Nope.
back to it?
in place of the 92. Sorry.
Just pain in the space.
10 dot, what did we say, Mario? 48.
48.
48. Now it wants,
Apply.
now it wants a username and password.
So admin, and that password that you
Password.
created.
You just typed in, okay.
Okay. Go ahead and hit the back arrow there at the top left. There we go. Server functions. Reboot server.
check.
Oh, no.
Down one. There you go. Up,
Okay.
up one.
Oh,
Yes.
No, I don't know what you guys are here. I'm watching you guys all day.
Okay, hit the left arrow. We're going to server functions. Reboot server. There you go.
where do I go now?
All right. We're going to hit the settings button bottom left. Edit settings. Network settings. IP settings.
Did you not get a ping?
And we're going to come down to our IP address. We're going to delete those last 4 numbers. Oops, okay, that's all right. 192.168.10. And you're going to be .56.
Dot 50?
56.
56.
Okay. Apply.
You already changed your IP on your BASView. You want to change, you click OK to 92 to 10. Click close.
I just changed the IP address on my computer.
Nope, you changed the IP address of this.
Oh, okay. I didn't have to change my.
Correct, because this took care of that function for you.
Oh, okay.
Have you rebooted, Romero? There you go. Okay, hit OK. Well, it needs to reboot this. Okay, so we're going to hit the back arrow. And server functions. Bottom option. There we go. And reboot server. Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Okay. All right. And it'll be back in 2 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Who else is having problems?
Wait, with the computer or just in life in general?
With the computer. I only have limited time here, Sean.
They got those nice lounge chairs at the hotel. We can.
There you go. With some cold beverages?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
On a Mac.
I had mine too big of.
Okay.
So I couldn't see where to.
Timing out. Did you change the IP back on your laptop? Or change it to the .10 something?
It's on a Mac.
Okay. Show me your...
Miracles never cease.
10.37. Okay, what did you change the address of this to?
36.
.36? Okay. Let's see if we can still go ahead and change your IP back to the .92 something and see if it's still stuck at the old address. Yes. There you go. Okay. Yeah, 37 will work. Okay, change it back to 92.68.
Oh, I see. I didn't quite follow how it said.
Yeah.
68. Okay. So,
A little bit above our.
your BASView is still at that address. So let's jump back to our web page. Hit OK.
Good.
And let's refresh. Or F5. F5 on your keyboard. Just, oh, yeah. Reload. Log in.
I do it every semester. See, this thing.
Well, I can see the help. Okay. Everybody else doing okay? All right. Give me a second to catch up with you so I can change my IP address. So it would be good to test and make sure you can still ping your controller after changing your IP address on your laptop to something useful. So what did Andy say about not doing live demos? So this is actually a really good example. So for whatever reason, I can't reach my controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the old address and see if I can still talk to it at the old address.
Oh, did it time out? Maybe it restart? Maybe it reverted? Oh,
I'd say give it 2 minutes before you try to.
Did you have to change your IP address, your
Laptop, and I did, and it did not.
Yeah, you got to have that set.
Oh, by the way, if you're ever in command prompt and it's taking forever to do something and you don't want to wait, hold down the control key and hit C. It'll exit out of whatever command it's trying to do that's taking forever.
Where's your address key?
I guess you'll learn how to do that reset.
Yes, you will. So,
Should I address the gate route?
no, I didn't set my default gateway.
Wasn't it default as anyway?
You got to change it back to the
IP
Yeah.
address is the gate.
You got to
We all have the same gate on that network. Plugged into us. It's gonna crash, right?
No, it won't. It just won't know how to get off of the network. Yep. So, all right. The super secret weapon. When you've got to reset one of these, this is just the SIM removal card tool for your phone. It really makes a great little push pin for stuff that has little reset push buttons.
I thought you were gonna say paper.
Paperclip.
A paper clip absolutely works, and it resembles it a lot. It's just a little bit more robust. Okay? So, to factory reset this to a default IP address and login credentials, there's a little tiny hole right above your LED lights. If you see it, all you got to do to reset is come in, press and hold the reset button until the status light goes away. It'll be flashy and then super flashy, and then it goes blank. Release it, wait for your status to come back, and it will be at the default IP address and login credentials. So if your students do a good job of screwing it up, which you know they will, okay, that's how you fix it. That's how you get back into it. And the great thing, that doesn't erase the work that they've done. So if you have somebody who goes in and does a bunch of work, and maybe you've got a prankster student or a prankster other instructor who comes in and changes the login credentials, you can just reset it.
I'm just gonna hit the reset button again. That's way easier than going there and doing anything.
There you go. Okay? My status is back. I should be back at my default IP address. This is also helpful at the end of a quarter or the end of a semester or whatever when you need to wipe the whole controller.
You gotta change your IP address.
I'm going to ping it. See, there I'm back. Can you tell I've been typing this stuff a little while, working on this? Oops, not that one.
Oh, that's what it
Did I not change something?
You had the both too.
No, my laptop was at 1. Was it? Yeah, it was at 1. Oh, okay.
Where you were thinking that.
And
It's saying one, but I think that's
We'll have to watch
That's,
we'll watch the footage.
there you go. I'm on the record with it, so. Hey, like I tell the students, I make mistakes every day. Most important thing about mistakes, acknowledge you made it, and then work to learn from it so you don't repeat it. Knowing how to fix it is helpful. So, one of the interesting things I really heard a number of weeks ago a really good explanation of why almost all IT troubleshooting starts with, have you tried turning it off and on again? Okay, and I actually heard a really good explanation of why that is the case. So let's say you're in Tokyo, okay? First time visiting there, you've never been there before. You know where you want to go, right? You've gone to the same restaurant every morning for breakfast. You leave your hotel, you're headed to the restaurant, you make a wrong turn. You're like, okay, I'm still pretty close by, I can get there. And you go around for half an hour, 45 minutes before you admit, yep, I am totally lost. Okay? Now, you have, obviously we have tools now. You can stop and ask somebody, you can use Google, you can get there, right? But if you don't have those tools, how are you going to get where you need to go? You try and backtrack, but you've already lost yourself. How can you get back to where you started?
Oh, no, man.
Well, you reset the day.
A man would never do that.
Close all the windows.
So,
Restarted.
right. What we're doing with the computer is we're basically taking a great big hand and picking it up from wherever it got lost at and bringing it right back to the starting point.
My life story is like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that seems about right, doesn't it? Let's see if I can ping it successfully now. Hey, there we go. All right, so now, planning? We don't. Okay? So, you 2 or 3, because Peter's in the same boat, are going to have to hang on for just a second. So now we have set the address of our laptop and our BASView. We should be able to unplug these from each other and plug them into our network now, right? So let's do it. Let's unplug it from each other and plug directly into our network. I managed to shortchange myself to one network cable. Yes, all of these are connected. So, yep. So, you want to have yours connected to there, and the BASView also connected to there.
Oh, okay. There we go.
And Steve will have his laptop.
Well, let me see if it works.
This didn't change. Something happened right here.
Correct. So you've got the BASView connected to here. You need to connect your laptop to there as well.
Oh, okay.
That's what the extra set of cables. I got you, Jenny.
I'm going to say this did not change.
All right. So,
Ask Robert if he
Yes, it's trying to reset those.
hang on just a sec. For those 3 of you that were using my TP link, if you go to your wireless, you should see a Best BAS X wireless. Okay, go ahead and connect to that.
Yes, back.
And the password for that is best, B-E-S-T, at MCC. All capitals.
And
Connected to.
Best BAS X. But you don't need it.
Oh, BAS too.
Only the people who are connecting via the TP links.
Do you mean BAX? You mean BAX?
What's that?
Go this one.
That's the one. I'm sorry, the BAS X project. Yes. Thank you. Sorry.
MacBook, you go to wireless.
Oh, 10.
BAS X project. Right up at the top.
Here.
Yep.
Yeah. Click the drop down.
Oh, I can't change the right, yeah.
Best at MCC, all capitals.
What?
Best, B-E-S-T, all caps. At, symbol. MCC, all caps. Yep. There you go. Join.
Wow.
There you go. All right. Once you are connected to the network, whether it's through the wireless or through a physical connection, try and ping your BASView again. Then try and ping your partner's BASView.
Now, you wanted us to log into wireless?
No. If you are connected physically, you don't need to do anything on the wireless.
What we did, we found something interesting. You know, we could talk to each other. We try to ping each other's keyboards.
It's sitting.
Yeah, we ping.
Oh, that's what I thought.
That's odd.
Yeah.
I could pick my own.
On your computer.
Okay.
And I guess.
I think you're gonna have to reset it.
Okay.
No, I can ping.
You can ping anybody.
I think Windows 11 has
You can't ping the original IP or the one that he changed it to.
Yeah, that could be,
All right. So,
yeah, one can.
magic paper clip. Poke it in the hole. Right?
I think it's a default setting on our system.
That could be.
Windows Firewall will get in the way sometimes. So we're going to hold it until that light goes out. There you go. Release. There you go. As long as you don't cycle power, it'll be back at its default address.
It's weird, my antivirus doesn't like the EZIO software, but it doesn't bother the contemporary platform.
The reason for that is the SAE is installed. CPT is just running without an install, anything in the registry. So it's suddenly like, whoa, whoa, where'd you come from?
Okay, all right, I don't know.
All right. So, everybody talking to your controllers? When is Ted not mumbling? Okay. So,
And I don't know why you said that. It's like,
okay. What address are you trying to go to?
Time down. Hey, try it one more time, that light just stopped flashing.
Okay. So, go ahead and jump back into your web page, and I'll show you how ridiculously easy setting up a BACnet system is. It's easy.
Still not working.
Try it again. Okay. So, watch me the first time, then we'll go through it together. Okay? We'll step through it one at a time. So, in your left-hand navigation pane, there's a right-click menu that will show up. Okay? And it's going to be create a new item. And we're going to create a new driver. Kind of railroaded into it. And we're going to grab a BACnet IP network. We call it something, We give it a description. No, it is not terribly important what you put. For your device ID, go with 11,000 and your last digit on your IP address. So, for me, I'm 11,002 because that's my IP address. Okay? You don't need to change any of the other settings. Device ID. And then hit OK. Yes. So, you are watching me that time. We'll walk through it together this time. Told you to go with. Okay? Right click in the left-hand menu. Create new item. New driver. BACnet IP. Give it a label and a description.
Matter what the device ID is.
Changing your device ID to 11,000 plus the last digit of, or last numbers of your IP. Okay?
The IP of the
Of that device, yes. Then hit OK. And don't worry, if it screws up a little bit, we can redo it.
The device ID has to be 5 digits?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm just choosing that number.
And leave everything else alone?
Leave everything else alone.
I'm getting an error.
When I click on the driver, mine
Oh, what's the cables then, huh? Wow.
Now you gotta go in to change.
All right, Peter. Let's hit OK. Oh, because you're trying to look at it at the old IP address.
Oh.
So just click OK. Let's come up here to our address bar,
Oh. Where's my?
right where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just delete everything that's there.
700.
And we're going to start 192. Dot 168. Dot 10. Dot 56. Enter. Leave.
Go back over here.
So now you can right. It's still connecting.
Oh.
It should make you re-log in
Okay.
when it gets there.
How am I connecting through my browser?
This has a built-in web server. That's how.
Oh.
Okay. Now, for some reason, you do not appear to be connected. So let's go to your network settings.
Here.
Yep. So we're on the BAS X project, so that's good. No, we don't need to go there. Cancel. I am not sure at the moment, Peter. Give me a few minutes,
Okay.
and I will come back to you. Doing all right, Russell?
Yeah.
Ted, did you get yours sorted out?
Yeah, he was involved.
Okay.
He was over bouncing, he took a left turn and told you.
All right.
Oh, the site cannot be reached.
Yeah, give me just a minute. All right. You getting it sorted?
Yeah, that was his camp table.
Oh, no, I didn't promise they were all good cables. All right. I know 2 people aren't to this point. Everybody else get here?
Yeah.
Give me just a second. Peter's having some problem here. Let me see if I can talk to his control. All right. Sit tight here for a couple minutes, Peter. For whatever reason, your that might have been a really easy solution there. All right, go ahead and trying that again. Hey, there we go.
My username is
Admin.
You can try to refresh.
You got him, Russell? Thank you.
and then LOCC.
Okay. So,
Did I need to change the tape?
yes.
Oh, okay.
So let's,
Okay.
yep.
Oh, this, yeah.
Oh, capital. All right.
There you go.
That's a server.
Try again.
I can find this. Right to the normal.
Not at all.
It's actually 110, and then the last two digits of your BASView.
Yeah.
11,000.
And the last number is the name.
Too many zeros. Let's delete 2 zeros. Yep, so 110. No, let's 110. Okay, and what did you set for your IP address? For the BASView? 44. There you go. 110, 44. There you go. Okay.
00? Yeah. But 58.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Wow.
Pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Making headway, Romero? Awesome.
New driver.
All right. We're all almost there. We're actually doing okay on timing. So, now that you've got your driver, let's left click on the driver. And you'll notice that your navigation view has changed. So now the name of whatever you set up for your BACnet network is going to be on top. Let's right click below that. And we have two options. We can create a new item. So if we manually knew the address and all the information for those controllers on the back table, we could plug it in. Do you know that information?
Nope.
Nope. Let's let BACnet do the work for us, and let's tell it to scan for devices. Okay? Now, if you are, these are some kind of advanced settings. The easy answer for this, as long as you've got literally a couple minutes, is just scan entire network. Okay? I'll be there in a second. Go ahead and hit scan down below. And our view is going to change drastically. What did you do? Cool. Mine's throwing an error. All right. Found it? Going good, Romero? Excellent. It's useful, isn't it? All right.
Mine says it ain't found nothing.
That's what mine says, too.
Found bunches. I found bunches.
Found a bunch? Okay, excellent.
That's twice.
You gotta reload your tape off.
So,
I'll try to do it at the same time.
Oh, you need another.
Oh, now I got it.
So instead, just connect between the switch and this and jump on the BASX project wireless.
Well,
Scan from that same screen that's up here, or do you have to go rescan, or is it better?
You got to right click and go scan again.
Okay, I didn't know the big.
Oh, it says you've got to close first, so. Okay. Cool. Bob, you're so helpful.
So we're finding each other.
Man, that's weird. I don't remember setting that.
I see it.
Shouldn't. I got something else exciting. All right.
boy, can we have some fun.
So, quick show of hands. How many people found devices? Fantastic. Did anybody not find devices? Yeah, Yep. So, I've got something screwed up on mine. I have no idea what it is. But we are to the point where we need to kind of pump the brakes for the day and do a quick review of stuff. Okay? So, we have a discussion we need to have about what we're going to talk about on Friday. But before we do that, today we talked a lot about networks. We talked about the BASView3 and why it might be useful for you. I'm not going to say guaranteed that it is. It may not be useful for you. I don't know your lab. You know your lab. You tell me if it's useful at the end of the week. Okay? So, we did talk about a lot of networks. We talked about a lot of BACnet. What are your takeaways from what we talked about today? What's useful? Jenny.
In our building, we have an LG compressor and then Siemens Insight system. And facilities is going crazy because they're pointing fingers at each other, the phone company and LG.
Yep, that sounds normal.
It's supposed to be BACnet compatible. And when you said that just because it's a BACnet device doesn't mean it's going to talk. I was like,
Yep.
Okay, well, when light bulb went on.
It definitely could be an issue.
You'll pick all of
They
the
need an integration.
BAS to use up,
It's possible.
and you can pick up.
Hard to say. But that's an exciting problem to run into.
Got back there.
Other takeaways?
Could you repeat what she said for the
Oh,
video?
awesome. So, Jenny said that they have an LG compressor and a Siemens control system in their building where they just aren't talking, and the mechanical guys and the control guys are pointing fingers at each other. This is a totally standard industry procedure. They'll dance around like that for a while, and eventually somebody will figure it out. But the possibility that really it may be there on BACnet and just may not have anything worth talking about. It could be a version issue. It could be addressing issues. The list of possibilities is, as long as your arm. So, but having a little bit of that background knowledge, you can kind of sit side into that conversation and share it with your students and see what it ends up being. Might be kind of fun. I always enjoyed problems like that. Other takeaways, Russell.
Same with Jeannie, I got an Aeon small chiller that goes with my air handler unit, which is a train, and we're trying to get them to communicate with controls and stuff. So now that I know that there may be conflict between the two, so I can go back and start looking at that when I get back.
Yep.
So we can figure it out.
Again, two devices not cooperating with each other, but these at least are yours, so you get to play with them directly.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit and observe and watch the chaos. You get to make some of the chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to get two different pieces of equipment by different manufacturers to talk to each other, that's integration. That's what we're paying those A-grade control technicians to do that Peter was talking about this morning. Two more takeaways. Bob.
I think he brought a lot of clarity to what BACnet actually is.
What BACnet is.
Exactly.
What it isn't.
That's that thing that is way too muddy to water.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity out there in our industry about what things are. We've had a long period of time where as control technicians, we don't want to share it with people because it's our piece of the pie. And so we've convinced them that what we're doing is magic. And the less we communicate about it, the more they have to call us. And I'm not saying that from an individual standpoint, I'm saying that from an industry standpoint. Okay, one more takeaway. No more takeaways? That's okay.
I learned how to change the
So much
data
that,
set.
So much. Robin?
I know even less than I thought.
So, knowing a little bit of what you don't know goes a long way.
Opens up a whole new cavern.
Yes, these topics are so wide and deep. I mean, there are people that literally do master's and PhD theses on little spikes of the control world. So I know one guy who did an entire master's thesis on PID loops. I can also question his mental faculties for making that choice, but hey, Rob, you had a takeaway. Last one.
Yeah, my takeaway is I've set up networks on RS-485. I had not had an opportunity to set up a network, a control network on Ethernet. And
Awesome.
so this was very informative for me for an Ethernet network.
Awesome. And the truth is that in the field, your students are more likely going to be setting up a lot of RS-485 networks because it's still a lot of what we do to communicate around a building. And they'll be writing on the existing IT network in the building, the Ethernet network. Okay? But there are still some cases where you may be in a high security environment, or they may be in a high security environment, and they don't want your stuff on the main network. Okay? And you have to create your own network. Those instances are getting rarer and rarer, but they absolutely do still exist. So having this ability, you know, it's not something where everybody at a company has to have that. But if you're one of the people at that company who does have it, man, that's a good thing in your favor when that need comes along. And when you just need to have the conversations initially with an IT department that you're going to hang stuff off the side of their network, you being able to have that conversation comfortably goes a huge long way. So, Russell, last one.
Talk about conversational with the IT department. It's like in my lab, I talked to my IT department when we screened on the building, on my building controls. I said, I want my own little bubble where my students can get online, come in that one little bubble, and it's not gonna mess with anything else on campus, or my students can't go into our campus controls and go in there and mess them up.
Yep.
I just want my own little bubble, they work with me, so
That's fantastic.
I got that one little bubble in that area.
Making friends with your IT department at your school is as useful as you can make it. And if all else fails, though, you can always set up a crash and burn network that, as far as they're concerned, doesn't exist. Maybe it only has one touch point or no touch points with their network. That is definitely a viable option. That's what I do here. Because it's easier than trying to have that conversation with IT, right? So.
Well, but sometimes it's actually safer for them to.
It absolutely is. Giving your students a safe place to fail, isn't that about half of our game or more? Give them a way to fail in a constructive manner. All right, so thank you for that. I appreciate the feedback on that you got something out of it.